They coming, hit the button. Young world, there's a lot going on, a lot more than what meets the eye is going on with a lot of this stuff that you hear people talking about and rapping about on music. Big thing right now people talking about in Chicago is the body count. Certain rappers, I heard of a rapper named King Vaughn who really talks about the body count. And other Chicago rappers, people in certain type of mind states have talked about a body count, but people don't understand what's really going on when you talk about this body count stuff. Some things you shouldn't talk about if you're not really aware of or in the midst of, whatever like that, and people say certain people shouldn't. Let's talk about it. Nature will allow you to take two people. When I say take, the word I'm really using is, you know what I'm using, so I'm just going to say take because I don't want to keep saying the same word over and over and mess around and get flagged. Nature will allow you to take two people. 1 + 1 is 2. You can get away with 2. Maybe one was an accident, you know what I'm saying? Maybe one was self-defense. Maybe you don't always have to be a bad person to take somebody, you know what I'm saying? Stuff happens. So nature will give you 2. One's accident, self-defense, another one that understands. But once you hit 3, now you altered the spiral. The spiral is something that I talk about in a different, I had it on my last channel, a video. Actually, this video is floating around still on a channel I had a long time ago, which I no longer have, but it's still out there. I may find it and put it on there. But the spiral, you gotta understand the relationship between the number 2 and the number 3. The number 2 standing alone outside of creation is 1 + 1. 1 + 1 equals 2. But 1 + 1 in relation to creation equals 3. Follow me for a minute. I know it might sound strange and weird. 1 human + 1 human standing alone equals 2 humans. But 1 human and 1 human in the realm of creation equals 3. Because a man and a woman, a human and a human, come together in creation, produces a third person, so that becomes 3. You got to understand the difference of 2 and 3, 1 + 1. You got to understand what you're talking about. Are you talking about standing alone as a regular number, or are you talking about the realm of creation, or in the realm of decreation? The same law applies for creation or decreation. So once you hit 3 or more, you have created or destroyed a portal. And like I said, I went into this on a different video more in depth about how what we're operating on Earth, we're a spiral that's being fed from behind. That's a straight line, but it's producing it sounds crazy. I'm gonna have to put the video up. It sounds like some spooky, weird stuff. So once you hit 3 or more, you have created or destroyed a portal. That's why serial killers aren't labeled as a serial killer until they killed 3 people. That's why they say 3 strikes and you're out. And once you hit 3, many different factors come into the spiral, or should I say the spiral, and more specifically the position of the spiral that you occupy. Like I said about the relationship between number 2 and number 3, 2 and 3 are prime numbers. 2 is the first prime number, so it's number 1. It's the first prime number. 3 is the second prime number, so it's number 2 in relation to prime numbers. So 2 and 3 are surrounded by 1 and 4, which are non-prime numbers. Prime numbers are where unnatural creation can begin, or where natural creation can be altered. Like I said about the video I did, I go into more depth. I did this about 15 years ago. The video is still on YouTube. I had it on my last channel, deleted, but it was actually on another channel, which is still floating around. I'll find it. But like I said, your destiny becomes out of your hands once you reach 3. And if you lost track of what I'm saying, the numbers I'm saying are the body count, 1, 2, and 3, or more. Once you get 3, there's 3 or more. You know what I'm saying? 3 and everything else behind it, you're already in once you get 3. Because now different factors come into play once you hit 3 or more. Now you have the vulnerability of being able to be possessed or become under a spell, which in a simple way you can equate to being, now you're operating in autopilot. Different factors such as, who did you get? What space were they occupying when you got them? Did they also have more 3 people under their belt? And the people that they got, did they have 3 or more people under their belt? You know what I'm saying? So now you're into a different realm that you're not even in control of no more. Maybe you was already operating inside of a portal that was opened up by somebody you conjured up, because you got to understand that these dudes in Chicago talking about smoking on packs, smoking on It'd be his person's name Pack, meaning that the person that they took out, they smoking on them. You know what I'm saying? When smoking weed. But the thing you got to understand is that certain sounds mixed together with smoke is giving you access to a hidden realm. That's why anytime you see people that operate in that type of thing, people doing roots, voodoo, stuff like that, there's smoke, there's sounds. You got to make certain sounds. Smoke got to be involved in it. Then you also have to have the drum, the beat in the background. That the drum also is divine to creation. People don't understand that. That's why rap music is what it is, because it's based off of a drum. So once you hit 3, it's almost impossible to stop once you get 3 under your belt. At that point, you have to be able to realize when the portal is open back up that you can travel back through to get yourself out of the spell. Most of the time, you're going to have to suffer in a situation that's going to cause you major desperation in order for you to be shocked enough to be able to see what's really going on in your life and around you. And at that point, a lot of the times, people don't make it out. A lot of the time, people realize that as they're dying, because that's when people say you see people have like this certain look before they die. If you like, I'll say on TV, if you ever saw a person, wherever, if a person watched the person die, you can see the life leave out of them, and you'll see them start focusing on something where it looks like people say they're seeing God or whatever you want to call it at that point. A lot of the times what that is that person realizing for the first time since they've been under a spell, they're coming out of the spell at that moment, because that something like that brings you out of the spell. But now you're leaving as you're waking up. That's why it literally looks like some people are waking up when they're dying. Their eyes are wide open. They're looking how they're looking. They're focused because you're coming out of the spell. But now it's just too late, obviously. But I mean, it's too late on this existence we're on. You know what I'm saying? But you're coming out of it as you're leaving. That's why you look like that sometimes. The luckiest way you can get brought out of the spell is by having a spiritual awakening. But you got to be wise enough and sharp enough to recognize when you have a spiritual awakening. You got to be able to identify certain thoughts when they come into your mind, and you got to be able to grasp onto them and know what to do with them and how to operate once you start thinking about different stuff. Once the light starts coming into you again a little bit, you got to be able to grab that light and make more light with that little bit of light that came into you from the spiritual awakening. Otherwise, it's going to fade out, and it ain't going to amount to nothing. You're still going to be stuck into this spell. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this stuff I know it sounds spooky and crazy and ridiculous. So these dudes in Chicago, this is why people from the outside looking in, not just Chicago, any inner city or anywhere where stuff like this is happening nonstop, people that aren't under the spell can easily look into the spell and look at it like, what the hell is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? How you don't see what's really going on around you? How you don't see that you're being used to destroy your own kind, or used to, you know what I'm saying, annihilate and to just totally take out your own existence? Especially for a person that was never under a spell, they definitely don't understand what's going on. They look at it and it looks like total chaos and total nonsense. You know what I'm saying? But for people that was under the spell themselves at one point, that was lucky enough to get out of the spell, can look at it and understand it. But even still looking at it like, because once you wake up and you're not under a spell no more, you're not possessed yourself, you kind of start forgetting how it felt to be under a spell sometimes. Once you get removed from that long enough, you kind of really do forget what being under a spell was really about. So sometimes you got to catch yourself and be like, damn, hold up, let me just not be too judgmental, because I know how it feels to be under a spell. You know what I'm saying? Being the person that was under a spell and got out of it, you know how precious time is at this point. And you know that, you know what I'm saying? Especially this day and age we're in now, where we're at now, you know how important every minute of every day that's left is when it comes to certain things that are going on in the world as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So, and understand that the body count or this type of act is not the only way that you can be in a spell. There's many different ways that you can be in a spell. One of my cousins that got murdered when I was about 18 years old, at his funeral, the preacher told my family that our family is cursed. I had 5 cousins who've been murdered at the age of 25, 4 I think at 25, like 2 others around the age of 25. I got shot when I was 25. A preacher actually told us at the service that our family was cursed. So to fully get out of this, from this curse, you have to identify for yourself who you really are and what things are you interested in outside of the street life. You got to identify where to put this energy at, because now you are going to be stuck with this energy no matter what. This energy that you have left, whether you're in the curse or outside of the curse, can destroy you by itself if you don't know how to focus it or know what to do with it, because it has to be burned off now. You have too much energy that you conjured up. So you got to figure out what are you good at? What are you interested in? What other options are there for you to do? Many times warriors, soldiers, people in the street that are doing this body count type of stuff, a lot of the times you're a warrior at heart already. That's why you might already be doing what you're doing, because you're already a soldier inside. You might have to go to the military. You might have to go to be a cop. You might have to go to be some type of something in a field where you can get proper training and be able to be who you are without having to hide it, as you carry your own agenda behind the scenes, whether it's going to be something that's going to further your people or yourself or whatever it is. You got to be able to learn how to use the energy you got in a positive way. A lot of the times people will say, you know what I'm saying, it's always frowned upon for the black community to go to the military or go to, which myself, you know what I'm saying, I definitely not going to sit there and advocate that I think it's a good idea, but at the same time, if you go certain places, you can get the proper training to know how to do things a certain way, how they're supposed to be done, and then use it for a different reason if you have to, or if that's what you're really about. You know what I'm saying? So you got to figure out a way to figure out where to put this energy at, because aimless energy will become eventually self-destruction. Easily can become self-destruction. You gotta link up with like-minded individuals. But the number one thing you gotta realize and identify when you come out of the curse is that, for one, while you was under this curse, you was working for your own enemy under this curse. You're helping to destroy yourself when you're cursed. So you gotta identify that. And you gotta not want that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta tell yourself, I don't care what goes on, I'm not giving these people myself for free to be used. You know what I mean? And you gotta build from there.